Sweet on the surface, but wicked underneath. Have you ever wondered what forbidden smells like? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Luke, and here on this channel I talk about classic, vintage and affordable fragrances. And in today's video I'll be reviewing one of my all-time favorites, one of my staples, one of the fragrances I can't be without. This is the fragrance that started it all for me. It's Hypnotic Poison from the house of Dior, launched in 1998, classified as an oriental vanilla fragrance, and the perfumers behind it were Annick Menardo, who also created Lolita Lompica, as well as Christian Dussolier, known for creating Dior Addict and Miracle from Lancôme. So as you can see, we have two world-class perfumers who worked on this fragrance together and created it. Before I get into the notes, the main accords, the longevity, I want to read what I consider a perfect description of this fragrance, written by Victoria, the owner of Bois de Jasmin Perfume blog, one of my favorite blogs online. I've been reading it for decades at this point. So let's read what Victoria has to say about Hypnotic Poison. Spices folded into jasmine cream with a metallic note cutting through the voluptuous richness is a vision of olfactory dessert that was created by Annick Menardo. Having debuted in 1998, Hypnotic Poison does not shock like the original Poison. Instead, everything about its voluptuous oriental form is slow seduction. At the same time, it projects a comforting aura with the sweetness of vanilla unfolding against the radiant freshness of musk and the milky bitterness of almonds. And if that's not the perfect description of this fragrance, I don't know what is. This fragrance was considered one of the first gourmand fragrances, so one of the first edible, smelling like food scents in the 90s. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first, and it was incredibly groundbreaking, incredibly pioneering even. It really started a new direction. I consider this fragrance the cornerstone of modern day gourmand perfumery. When this was released, it created quite a stir because people weren't really used to sweet vanillic fragrances, and along with Angel and Chopard, Casimir and some other fragrances from the 90s that were very sweet and vanillic, this fragrance started the gourmand genre, and it was one of the first fragrances to mix almond and vanilla. But I would say this is by no means a modern gourmand. Nowadays, the trend is, smell like a snack. People want photorealistic gourmands. They want them to smell like pudding. They want them to smell like churros. They want to smell like chocolate and things like that. But this is not that. This fragrance still smells like a fragrance. It still smells like a perfume. And that's what makes it magical, in my opinion. And when I talk about gourmands, this is what I have in mind, because I really don't want to smell like a milkshake. I don't want to smell like vanilla cake. I don't want to smell like custard, if you know what I mean. But I do want to smell like almonds, vanilla, jasmine, musk. This fragrance is just so incredibly sensuous and voluptuous. Let's talk about the notes and the main accords. To me, this fragrance is a sweet, powdery vanilla fragrance. It's also a bit nutty, woody. I also get a hint of coconut. I don't really get any white florals, and I get also a slight muskiness in the base. Fragrantica says vanilla, sweet, almond, fruity, nutty, powdery, woody, coconut, white floral and balsamic. I agree with the main accords, and I will put the note breakdown on the screen. I won't read it out. I'll just tell you what this fragrance smells like to me. The opening can be a bit unpleasant because there's so much going on. The bitterness from the almond, a hint of spice, the florals, a hint of greenness. But give it a minute or two and this becomes absolutely divine. In the dry down, this gets to the dry down in about 5 minutes on my skin, and it's all about the dry down. All I can smell in this fragrance is the dry down, and it lasts for hours. And the dry down to me smells like a mix of amaretto, which is an Italian almond liqueur, almond croissants, patisseries, sweet nutty vanilla custard, salted caramel, and Play-Doh. But again, it only gives me an impression of these things, of these foods. It doesn't smell exactly like these foods because this is not a photorealistic fragrance. It's got some florals, it's got some musk, some woody notes, which prevent it from becoming a photorealistic gourmand. And I totally understand why people on Reddit, especially younger people, Gen Zers and Gen Alphas, I think, already. I don't know why they call this fragrance an old lady fragrance, a grandma fragrance, because it's not a 100% gourmand. It doesn't smell like a milkshake. It doesn't smell like a caramel latte. It doesn't smell like brownies. And anything that doesn't smell like brownies that has a hint of musk in it is already a grandma fragrance, according to these people. This fragrance, whenever I wear this fragrance is magnetic. It gets me so many compliments, and I don't wear fragrance because I want to get compliments. I really don't, but this fragrance has always gotten me tons of compliments. I started wearing this in high school. It gets noticed, believe you me, it does. Even though it's an eau de toilette, and even though, some reformulations a couple of years ago didn't last very well, the current one does actually last. And every time I wear this, it gets noticed. So let's talk about the performance. The performance is excellent for an EDT. The opening is quite explosive. The sillage is good, especially if you overspray. At around the 3-hour mark, it's still going strong, but then it kind of becomes a skin scent, but it will last around 10 hours on your skin. After about 10 hours, I can still catch whiffs. I can still smell myself, but it wears very close to the skin. So if you're looking for something that has insane projection and lasts all day, this might not be the fragrance because you will have to reapply. In that case, I recommend the EDP, which on me lasts a solid 12 hours with amazing projection. The EDP is stronger, but it does smell a bit different. It's a licorice fragrance. There are many different dupes and clones of this fragrance out there, but I just choose to buy the original. I'm a die-hard fan of this fragrance. And here's a tip for you if you love this fragrance like myself. Buy the biggest bottle. Buy the 5 fluid ounce bottle. The 150 milliliter one, yes, it comes in a 150 ml. It's the only fragrance I would ever buy in 150 milliliters because it's the cheapest, price per milliliter. It's the cheapest. I only paid about 120 euros on the grey market for this bottle. Mind you, buy at your own risk. I don't endorse any of these websites, but I've had so many bottles of Hypnotic Poison that I think I'm perfectly capable of authenticating one. And all of the ones I have are authentic. I bought some from private sellers. I bought some directly from the Dior counter. I bought some from grey market websites. So this fragrance is very popular, and if you don't feel like paying retail, you can always find other options. You can even buy partial bottles from private sellers. I wouldn't recommend eBay, especially not the 100ml bottles, which are almost always fake. Beware of eBay. I'm just going to say that. My next point is the bottle design, which is, in my opinion, genius. It's shaped like an apple, like the forbidden fruit, and it's got these claw-like ridges climbing up the sides. So the design was deliberate, and it references to incredibly powerful images in the collective imagination: the forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden and the poisoned apple from Snow White, given to her by the evil witch. And both stories center around temptation, beauty, danger, just like Hypnotic Poison. And I would also like to say that the original bottles had a velvety matte coating, which was very soft to the touch, and it really added this luxurious and mysterious aura. The bottle has changed quite a lot over the years. Different shades of red, different finishes, different sizes and proportions. In 2015, they had these deeper, richer red bottles, and then around 2020 the bottle was a bit more transparent, and then the current version, which is my big 150 milliliter bottle, seems to be somewhere in between. It is see-through but a bit more opaque than the previous one. So as you can see, Dior keeps updating their bottles, which is a good thing, I believe, because I absolutely love all of them. So that's all I wanted to say about Hypnotic Poison. I do promise I'll make a video about the whole Poison range as soon as I get my new bottle of pure Poison. It's the only one I'm missing at the moment, apart from the Midnight Poison and the discontinued ones. So stay tuned for that. Please let me know in the comments if Hypnotic Poison is one of your favorite fragrances. I'm pretty sure, almost everyone loves this one. So let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.